Oma lived like a princess in the heart of Lagos. Her father, Chief Obaalo, owned one of the biggest companies in Nigeria, and her mother, Adis, once represented the country at the Miss World competition. From childhood, Oma never washed clothes, never cooked, never drove, and never cleaned. Maids brushed her hair, polished her nails, and even prepared her bath water. The only hard work she ever did in her life was bathing herself, and even that wasn't always necessary, because sometimes a maid would prepare everything to the last towel. Her life was so soft that people believed she didn't walk, she glided like perfume. She wore luxury brands that most people only see on TV, and her cars were more expensive than some houses in Lekki. Yet behind her designer sunglasses were eyes that cried quietly. While others envied her life, Oma envied one thing they had: love. All the men that came close ran away, afraid of her status, her wealth, and her powerful family. Rich as she was, her heart was empty. Oma attended countless weddings. She always dressed like a goddess, golden osook, shining beads, and diamond earrings that sparkled like fresh water. She was always admired, always complimented. But as the bride threw her bouquet, something strange always happened. Oma caught it every single time. People screamed, "Oma! Next bride! Next bride!" Even the MC would shout her name with excitement. But months passed. Years passed. No husband came. Instead, her room became filled with bouquets, all dried like old memories. Oma cried alone in her large bedroom, surrounded by luxury but starved of affection. She wanted someone who loved her, not her cars, not her father's money, not her face, not her body, just Oma the human being. Determined to change her story, Oma joined dating apps. She used filtered pictures, no name, no details about her family. She messaged men who talked to her like a normal girl, and she felt seen. But when they found out who she was, everything changed. Some begged for sponsorship, some asked for business capital, and one even asked her to buy him a car before their first date. Oma deleted the apps in anger. One morning, she sat at her private balcony, watching the busy Lagos streets below. She felt like a bird inside a golden cage. She stood up and decided to do something she had never done before. She would go shopping alone. No driver, no maids, no bodyguards crowding her. She wanted to feel like a normal person, just once. Oma stepped into a newly opened luxury mall in Victoria Island. The whole building smelled like expensive perfume. The floors were shiny like water, the lights were warm and golden. She walked alone, wearing a silk jumpsuit and diamond sandals. People stared at her, not because she was rich, but because her beauty was loud like a drum. She felt free, almost happy. She discovered a new designer store with clothes made from fine fabrics. Just as she stepped in, the ground vibrated slightly, and the lights flickered. She walked back out to the elevator to move to another floor. But the moment the doors closed, the elevator stopped. The lights went out for a second, the fan stopped, and the elevator became quiet like a grave. Oma panicked and screamed for help. A young security guard outside the elevator heard her voice. He rushed toward the elevator and tried to calm her down. But instead of thanking him, Oma shouted, "Are you blind? Do something. Don't stand there." Chek looked at her through the tiny glass and answered boldly, "Calm down first. You are not dying. Relax, princess." Those words shocked Oma. Nobody spoke to her like that. He began working on the elevator with calm confidence, pressing buttons, calling maintenance, and guiding her with instructions. Oma held her chest, trying to control her fear. She felt vulnerable, helpless, trapped without her fancy life to protect her. And strangely, the only comfort came from the simple voice of a mall security guard. That moment would change her life forever. The elevator door opened with a slow metallic sigh. Oma marched out angrily, her heels clicking sharply against the marble floor like a judge's gavel. People stared as her diamond sandals struck the ground with fury. She was red with embarrassment, not because she was trapped, but because someone dared to speak to her without bowing. She stormed straight to the management office, scattering staff like frightened chickens. She screamed, her voice slicing through the luxurious lobby. Within minutes, the mall manager rushed in, sweating and trembling. Trouble shone in Omar's eyes like burning gold. She pointed toward the elevator direction with disgust. "I want that security guard fired, now," she commanded. The manager swallowed hard, adjusting his trembling tie. Her demand echoed in the gold-plated room like thunder. The manager tried to speak, his voice wobbling. "Madam, the security guard in the elevator is not a staff." Omar blinked. "So he's a cleaner," she snapped. "Even better. Fire him immediately." The manager shook his head quickly, his heart racing. "No, madam, he is neither a staff nor a cleaner." Omar frowned, confused and impatient, tapping her diamond nails on the counter. "Then who is he?" "Speak before I buy this building and demolish it," she threatened. The manager inhaled deeply. In one sentence, he changed her entire world. "Madam, that man is the owner of this mall." Omar froze like ice dropped in hot oil. The room felt too small, too silent, too bright. Her voice disappeared. Her anger died like a broken flame. For the first time in her life, Omar had made a mistake she couldn't erase with money. The manager continued gently, as if touching a wound. "His name is Chakobieka, one of the billionaire sons in Africa. He just returned from abroad. He doesn't post pictures, he doesn't show off, but everyone in the billionaire circle knows him." Omar felt her knees weaken, her head spinning like a faulty fan. That name, she had heard it before. Men whispered it with respect at her father's banquets. Women from wealthy families prayed for his attention like it was a miracle. She remembered how her friends whispered about him, a young billionaire who refused to live loudly. A man who could buy countries but wore simple clothes. A man who hid his wealth like a king disguised in the market. Omar staggered out of the office, her pride bleeding. She didn't walk, she floated out like a lost ghost. Omar sat in her luxury car, unable to start the engine. She felt something she had never felt before, shame. Not because she embarrassed herself, but because she insulted someone who was richer, more powerful, and more grounded than her. When she got home, she couldn't eat. Expensive meals sat untouched. Her maids asked questions, but Omar dismissed them with a wave of her shaking hand. She lay on her silk bed, staring at her chandelier, thinking of the calm voice that saved her in the elevator. That night, for the first time in her life, she realized that luxury was not peace. Money was not comfort. Pride was not protection. She had everything, but she lacked what Chaik had, a grounded soul. The thought of him, simple, confident, silent, kept her eyes wide open until morning. The next day, Omar dressed more beautifully than ever. Not for a party, not for a wedding, not for paparazzi. She dressed for a chance. She drove herself to the mall, something she rarely ever did. She sat in the lobby, pretending to shop, pretending to admire perfumes, pretending to look at clothes. But her eyes searched only for him, the billionaire in a security uniform. He didn't appear. The day passed like smoke. She returned the next day. Still no sight of Chaik. She kept coming, sometimes twice a day, wearing new outfits each time, hoping to bump into him casually, like love was a coincidence waiting to happen. For 3 months, the mall became her shrine of patience.